at 5:41. Town Council meeting for Fontana Dam, Wednesday, January 20th. Present is Tiffany Duke, Jordan Hedrick, Valerie Rogers, Rob Hardy, John Hodgson, and we've got your name again?
Jason Duke.
Jason Duke, our new ORC at the water treatment plant, and Ford Graham Starr filling in for Kevin. Your name is Charlie
Benton, Benton.
Cool. Glad to have both of you guys. Let's see, as far as the agenda goes, anybody have any adjustments, modifications, or entertaining motions?
I make the motion we accept the agenda as read.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. All right. The approval of November and December 2020 minutes. I took a look at those, didn't see any issues. Anybody else have any comments? Otherwise, entertaining motions.
Make a motion we approve the November and December minutes.
Read, all in favor?
Aye.
No. Public comments? All right. Do you think, Charlie, you're going to be coming over here for Kevin on a regular basis, or is it just kind of don't quite know yet?
I think Kevin's actually going to keep this because I'm here because he has a basketball game to cover tonight. So,
He likes it over here, Kevin does, so.
yeah, but
Oh, today was his
Something
birthday?
about it.
Well, I think it was a couple of
Oh,
days
that was
ago.
Monday.
Monday.
Yeah.
Because you remember.
Yeah, because we switched it from, yeah.
Yeah, he said we could celebrate.
Yeah.
Let's see, here we go. Okay, you guys will be
Mhm.
So I'll do the financial update there for the towns out.
So, okay, we have $170,458.25 in the bank, which is the biggest number we've had in a long time. I'm very proud of that.
Sure.
We are getting paid, that's awesome. So TDA is following through. I've not talked to anybody. They said we'd revisit everything in this time of year, but nobody's contacted me, and so I'm just keeping on.
Keep taking it.
Yeah, so that's all going good. Everybody, the money's coming. Whenever I send it in, I usually send it at the beginning of the month, get it by the end of the month, so.
Given where we were last year, trying to squeeze some money out for back user fees, this is a welcome change. I hope.
Yeah, me too. I mean, we were down to like $100,000 last year, which wasn't anything, so it's good that we've got a little bit of cushion going now.
Yeah, that 170 and 100 might sound like a lot, but it can go very, very quickly.
Yeah.
So,
And
plus, we had a lot of instability last year with the things that were going on with the previous ownership or lessee group. Was kind of, they were having trouble, and they were, I think they were kind of looking for a way out, is what it seemed like to me, to a degree, and the coronavirus came on full on. Created even more obstacles, but anyway, we're fairly comfortable right now.
Right.
Now, if we can move forward on a few issues, which I guess we'll move to the water plant update, and we'll introduce Jason.
Yes, Jason. Jason Duke. He is our new ORC. He took Dennis's place. Dennis is still an employee. He is now, though, an hourly employee. So he's still ORC down at the wastewater plant. But Jason is over the utilities. He's over the water and the wastewater. So that is, if they're between Tim and Dennis, that will be their first contact of authority, and then if it's going through that ladder of people. So hopefully he's able to handle everything at his level, and having met with him and talked with him several times again to know him and his wife and family, I feel confident in his skills. He definitely knows water. He's very approachable and wants all of us to know probably more about water than we ever wanted to know.
Transparency is a big thing. I mean, when it comes down to having a vote on things that come out of the budget, it's good to understand why. Not just, we need this pump. You're like, well, no, we don't need that pump. It's like, oh, well, this is why.
So as ORC, you're our resident expert. So.
Yeah. Well, and that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like I like everybody to be involved. You know, I do. I don't need you to come work at the plant, but I'd like you to have at least a little bit of knowledge. So if something is questioned, you're like, I remember him saying that. Like, yes, that's it. So, but I've got. I was born into this. I'm third generation. My grandfather did it. My father did it. I have worked in 7 different municipalities.
Okay.
This is easily probably my favorite right now.
It's the honeymoon phase.
No, well, again, this is the newest plant I've ever been at. Okay.
Stuff to learn and.
And I've told them, I'm like, look, let me figure out a few little things before we start moving forward with things. But it is the most simplistic plant I've ever been at, and the fact that it's just built, usually within the first 8 years, is where it's good or bad.
You figure out.
Well, what happens is within the 8 years, if it's not, at water plants, the first thing that goes is housekeeping. That's the sweeping, it's the mopping. Once you give up on that, then it becomes preventative maintenance. Then after preventative maintenance, then it's okay, now it's maintenance. Well, then if maintenance comes, now we're looking at $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 fixes. So I'm coming in at a time where it's like, all right, we're catching this brand new.
Establish good habits.
Yes, we can get this thing going. We can keep it up. You know what I mean? Went to the whole wastewater, the whole water plant. And, you know, we've got 150 bags of anthracite, which that's probably sitting on about $50,000.
So see, this is and I got the demolition of the whole water plant and as the next topic there.
Before we get to that.
Well, I meant, but what I was getting at with that is that having him on board, stuff down there before we commit to having it torn down by TVA, we can get some of this stuff out and salvage some stuff.
Oh,
But now he's going to need help. He can't get it out by himself, and I don't know. Maintenance is all tied up, so. But we will talk about that more later. The main thing is, why in coming on board? How is everything? You know, because that was where we were worried. Is all of our, is the quality of water good? Is everything being operating correctly?
I mean,
and I'm talking about like as you walked in the door.
oh yeah, well,
Okay.
you know, it's from where I was at, it was always the mountain is the best water. Best water. You know, move up here, you've got people with 3 teeth. Oh, we drink out the creek. And I'm like, all right, that's fine. I was like, maybe I'll try that. But the raw water that we're treating is pristine.
It's about as pristine as it gets. Yeah.
Yes, sir. It is. What we're treating, it's not bad. It's not. I mean, we don't have any bad contaminants before. So, you know, unless somebody dropped the ball bad, we don't have any issues. You know, other than the leaks.
That's our problem. The distribution system.
Well, and that was something I brought to Zuri was, you know, the cabin I did, you know, day one, the toilet was running. I'm like, well, that's, you know, that is a gallon a minute. And I said, it's 1,440 minutes in a day. That's 1,400 gallons that we are losing. So, you know, I said something about maybe putting the list on housekeeping to notice, hear water running, make a note of it, maintenance. I'm like, I'll jump in, I'll do it.
We've tried to go that route. I think we may have to be even more proactive than that. We may have to actually go around and just kind of do general inspections ourselves and, you know, look under the house, make sure there's no leaks, check and see if there's anything running, you know, just so for our peace of mind, we can say we feel like this is not an issue.
Well, I mean, when you stop and think, you think a drip out of your kitchen faucet ain't much. Well, it adds up. And then, you know, this being small and, you know, you figure we're pulling 14, 15, 16 hours of the water plant.
Yeah.
All right. You know, could we cut that down
Yes.
to 10? I definitely think so. I mean, I was in Andrews and they were running 12, 14 hours a day. Within 3 months, I got us down to 6.5 to 8.
Okay.
So I'd like to continue that trend.
Was that becoming more efficient at the plant, or was that kind of looking at?
It was changing the operation, and well, you figure that plant is almost identical to this one.
Okay.
It's bigger.
Okay.
But it was 15 years the senior of this one, and it had to be taken care of. And so they were going out looking at $500,000 quotes, and I'm like, well, you didn't follow the right steps. Like, we don't need that. We just need some extra meat, which the 150 bags in the old water plant, like, we're sitting on gold here. If we ever get that off, we can sell it to another municipality.
Right.
So,
Well, I just said go ahead and do that anyway. If
well,
we
I mean,
can
that's
do
what I
that-
told you. I'm like, right now, that media and those filters, you got a shelf life of about 15 to 20 years. And as long as it stays how it is right now, we're good. So all that media, we can go to what are we talking about? Gov Deals and try to get rid of it. Look at these other municipalities, Cary and Robbinsville. We've got places we can reach out to and say, hey, we got some bags of anthracite. Do you want some? I mean, so we've become water treatment plant dealers, officially.
Supply.
Yeah, that's what we've got. I mean, literally, we can start calling people like, hey, I got the hookup. Do you want some?
Is that what a chemical that cleans the water?
What it is trying to give it. If you were to take charcoal, all right, they call it carbon, all right, it's burnt coconut shells. Well, you pour water through it, it catches the impurities in it. Now, granted, it's not going to take bacteria out, which is what the chlorine is for. So when that water comes in that plant, it comes up through the clarifiers, and then it comes out and comes over and goes into the filters, which is where the anthracite and gravel and sand and everything is. And so it goes through that, and it's pulling out it turns lake water into clear water.
Okay.
And then once it gets past that, then you're adding chemicals
Gets
to
sent
adjust it to
out.
where it is drinkable. It's safe for human consumption.
Like that turbidity, what is it?
Toxicity, turbidity,
So it gets
turbidity. Well, see, the turbidity coming in here already, it's like, I've never seen it this
Super
low
good.
It's
before.
pretty clear.
Oh, yeah, I mean, like, matter of fact, Monday, it went up to a 1, and the plant acted crazy. I'm like, oh my God, like, just a 1, that's all this can take. Like, I'm used to seeing 20s and 40s.
No, yeah.
So,
Wow.
but again, at the end of it, we're looking at, I think Dennis said something about we were getting an award this year for turbidity.
It's like 0.1 or 0.3.
Yeah, well, the limit's a 0.3.
Yeah.
All right, we're nowhere even close to that. We're at a 0.03.
Yes.
So we're well below that. The amount of chemicals we feed are minuscule. The biggest issue I see is going through the cabins, looking for leaks, and getting that big leak fixed at the intermediate down there by the
And the
old
campground.
Yeah.
Which we got the pump in, so.
Okay.
Probably though, when it's, like, on a day that to go, you or me or somebody, that would go with him with keys, mayor to somebody, cause I know the maintenance is busy.
Yeah.
And so they probably don't have time. And we get a list of everything and go through and check off, I'm not gonna climb in under houses, but
I mean,
now is a better time to do it just because snakes and stuff.
I'm going to
Maybe
get
around.
together with you, and I've got a background in civil engineering. So
Okay.
this stuff's not Greek to me, although I'm way out of practice.
Yeah,
Calculations and all that stuff.
What I look at, it amazes me. The plant can be tricked out a little bit. It can. Like, and I try to ask questions and nobody really has the answer. Like, oh yeah. So you figure in 16 hours, 16-hour days, I'm only putting out 200-some thousand gallons a day. All right, that's tiny.
Yeah.
Tiny. So.
Part of that has, I guess, to do with
Well,
having to
it's-
push it to an intermediate tank.
Okay, so you fill the clue wheel. Now, obviously, the clue wheel is probably the biggest of what we have. I don't know for sure. I haven't seen any kind of schematics, but I would assume the clue wheel is the biggest, which is under the water plant. Intermediate tank's tiny. I mean,
It's only 20,000 gallons.
It's tiny. But you figure as much water as we're actually producing and how much we're losing, it looks like pretty much downtime. Like that plant can be down for a maximum 12 hours. In 12 hours, you're low everywhere.
Yeah.
That's not a good thing to be. Once you get low, you start having loss of pressure. Then you got to start issuing boil water notices, and
Don't want that.
nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. So I think if we can get that leak fixed, down at the campground. I think that's gonna be huge turnaround. And from that, it's gonna be, let's start looking at this gap.
Yeah, we'll go after the
Checking
low
time.
hanging fruits, and then we can start running some analysis on where we think.
I
our
can get
leaks
rural
might
water
be.
back up here too.
Yeah, we can get those. Chief
Yeah.
Buff, have you ever,
I
Or some of those
had
guys that
one dealing with them. The people that I liked since being up here, it was the state people.
Okay.
The state inspector,
Nicole.
Nicole, she's on point. Like me and her were like this in anger. It's like anything I needed, I called her. Hey, look, I got a problem. You can come help me. So I think she recommended me too, right?
Yeah, she was, and she's very accessible as well.
I think the
And
trick,
the other good thing, just one other thing, is that he's willing to also become involved at the wastewater plant too and get that cross training. You know, just because it's always beneficial to have more than one set of eyes doing stuff. So, you know.
so generally speaking, I'm not sure if you guys were fully in the loop. I guess last time with Dennis, we talked about moving forward, trying to find someone. And so when we, contacted Jason, it looked like a good fit. We were trying to negotiate some details, I suppose, with the resort, and we finally came to, an agreement where everybody was happy, at least for now. And I think Dennis is even happy about,
He seemed to be. I don't think he really wanted the title anymore and the work done with it. And I think most of that's because he has his own issues with Mary and all of the, the doctor visits and everything that he has to do with that. So
I think it's going to be a win-win. I think we're going to try to get him to focus more on wastewater treatment plant duties at the moment, and doing some things maybe we haven't been able to do down there because he was trying to run, this plant as much as it needs to be run. So I think it's going to be really good in the long term. Going into this spring, it looks like we'll have 3 operators. So if we can just get our run times, find that low hanging fruit, the best bang for the buck sort of fixes, and get our demand.
Well, and here's the thing too that I've looked at was because the plant is so small, it's literally everything it's automatic. Push a button. It's literally state of the art. The long hours, we're working today. I worked 16 and a half hours Monday, 15 right at 15 yesterday, and I got 13 and change today. Nobody else is working 3 straight days other than Dennis, which would be Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. He worked, and that was what we talked about. Hey, look, I want you there Wednesday with me, so I can come up there. And since he's at the wastewater plant, I'm at the water plant, I'll come down there, get a better understanding of what we're looking at. Which again, I started in wastewater. That right there is. It ain't much to that. We're not feeding any chemicals to it, nothing to that plant at all.
But we do have a system in place with the chlorination, dechlorination.
The chlorination.
Yeah,
We
that
chlorinate that water.
Yeah, that we put in any upgrades that needs to be implemented. That was, the main thing is when our permit renews, that we might have a fecal limit on it then. And in doing that and implementing, getting that plant up and running and doing it before we have to.
And the wastewater regulators, they don't play games. They want their money. That's just why water. You can usually talk to them and they'll understand. They'll say, "Hey, look, we're tight budget. We can't fix this. Can you help us a little bit?" They're willing to wastewater. Your title cash, too bad. Pay me, and still we're going to find you again next year.
And they've been pretty good about, understanding our situation, but as we've gotten money and we've gotten some fixes, I think they are going to start.
The honeymoon's over there too.
And that's what I was worried about. Like I said, I told the other, I'm like, look, I'm familiar with wastewater. I've been out of it for long, but I'm like, it goes hand in hand with water. So I told, Dennis told the other, I'm like, look, I want to be involved. I need to be involved in that. But it's again, her hand in hand, same with distribution. So
We're anxious to get a fresh set of eyes, maybe new perspectives on some things. Any ideas you have, any concerns you have, certainly, communicate with Zell. I'll jump in, and, as far as the distribution system, that's something I think that's that place. It's it's gonna be kind of difficult, I think, to really resolve it, since you've got a lot of old cabins with the taps that are gone, and you have a very loose plan about where they were.
Well, and another thing too is, we're dealing with how old is the plumbing, how old is the pipe in the ground, and how much pressure can they take? Like
Right.
that was something like we did here.
42.
We've got 2 new pumps, and we can't use but one of them, right? Well, why? That would help us. That could limit the time we're at that plant. By instead of just turning them off, letting it drop down, we could use this, the supplemental pump. So all this takes time. It takes a little bit of time. I mean, I told them, I'm patting myself on the back. Like I came in here day one, they're trained it, but they would turn the button like, I'm running the plant. Boy, looks good. I pat myself on the back on this. Like this is a first. So the plan is it's in good shape. I take pride in what I do. I literally look at that. Everywhere I'm at, hey, I want to be part of the community. Any issue, like, hey, my family drinks this. My 5-year-old boy, my 8-year-old girl, my $4,000 dog. Like, we all drink this water. Like, it's not bad. So, that's a big thing with me. Right? So,
Let's go. We're really excited to have you on board. I think it's nice out here. If you like being out in the boonies.
oh yeah. Well, I mean, the other said this destiny. Is that what you're saying? Like this, it was meant to be.
Yeah,
That's what you said.
yeah.
It was meant to be.
Yeah, because again, it
Yeah.
just failed together.
I mean, literally, man. Like we were back home, and I'm talking to the wife and kids. I'm like, I guess we're going to be moving back to Oxford. Yada yada yada. And I get a phone call. Hey, blah blah. I'm like, I don't know if this is a scam. This other call, and I'm like, okay. For one, I've never heard anybody sell this. I know this is right. And it was like, I mean, it just went together, and I'm like, I'm happy. My kids are happy. The wife's happy.
It won't always be this quiet. Just wait till.
Well,
Yeah,
my
I
big
was
concern, I'm not so concerned about the leak as I am when we start filling that hole. Like the lazy river. Once we do that, I'm concerned about that for a good week or so. Like that'll be hard on me. So other than that, this is nothing,
And that's why we gotta get on that, fixing that leak, I guess.
Well, we've got the pump, and again, what'll have to happen is gonna have to be a day to where, if I can get a Wednesday with me and Dennis and get him down there, set the pump up, we pump out the water, I'll be able to get down in there to look and see what we need to fix, where, how bad it is, can we get a coupling, can we get a burn code, whatever we need.
Jeff Williams you might get further with him actually than
Well, I mean,
Dennis.
here's the issue.
Yeah.
Like, all I need is somebody standing with me. I don't need you to do their physical labor. Like, let's pump up the water. Just stand by me in case I'm down this hole and a car drives by and falls into the hole, the tree falls, or something like that. I need somebody to pull me out. Is the biggest issue. Like, I'll do the work. I'm not worried about that.
Right. Well,
But it will be the fact that if I'm there in that hole, somebody's going to need to be up here at this plant, at least periodically check and make sure.
Close the road.
Yeah. Well, then we can block that part off, but it's going to be the fact that if I'm down there, I'll at least need somebody.
Well, right now the campground's closed anyway, so
Yeah.
this is a prime time. Today would have been a good day to actually have done it, because it's pretty out. It wasn't as cold. That is
No,
another
it's
thing.
cold down there.
Well,
That wind
It
comes
is
off that
cold, but
river.
it's
I walk
like-
out there short sleeves like, I'm good. I'm walking on the side of that building. I'm like, oh my God, I'm good.
It's like 10 degrees colder down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. Oh, well, on the back of the plant, it's not. There's no wind in it. You got the mountain, you got the building. You walk on the side, it's like, oh my God, I couldn't go through the back
The
inside
water
real
is
quick.
very
Yes.
cold.
Yeah.
So this will segue into the demolition of the water plant, the old one, and if there's any way possible, hey, John, I'd like you maybe to help with this too, to try to get some of those chemicals, what is it called again?
It's anthracite. What it is, it's either 50 to 60 pound bags. There's no easy way around it.
I can carry that.
There's no. The only way, like I said, is if we could put some kind of 2x4 plywood on those stairs on top, and have almost like a line, to where you got one person running, drops them down there, somebody at the steps takes them, puts them outside, the next person throws them in a truck.
How many bags are there?
About 150.
Yeah, it was 9 high.
So
7.
if they slice, I mean, have you messed with them any of the bags?
Yeah. Some of the
Are
bags
they-
are, some of the they're not like plastic. They're almost like that fiber.
Well, what my concern is like if they was to slide down something and hit, are they gonna bust open?
No,
So they have not deteriorated or
to
anything?
that. Well, I mean, I picked one up today. I got it all over me.
Okay.
Is it nasty stuff or?
They're black.
But is it like gloves and masks?
Oh, you don't need that.
Plastic?
Yeah, no, it's not. None of this. I mean, you think you're drinking water that's coming through this? It's not
Oh.
dangerous.
Alright.
Yeah, it's not. Now it's
No fiberglass?
it's being no. It's nothing you breathe. You're like, oh yeah. No.
No asbestos.
So maybe if,
Still gonna be
if you three
Alright.
could at least, I mean, you could probably get a good start on that if we could get something to put
Yeah,
for those steps, so somebody be moving it
if
down
we
the
can
steps.
do it to where we're, because again, if we don't have it to slide down the steps, you got somebody that's gonna run it to the steps, somebody's gonna have to go up and down those steps.
Yeah, I'd rather try to figure
The
out.
slide's gonna be the best, not unless we got somebody that, we can get a truck pulled up to the side over there, we could probably toss them out the window. That would be the only other issue, would be that, but safety wise, it's gonna be finding a way to slide it down.
The list that you have on the ladders, I guess, for moving shingles and whatnot. I wonder if something like that.
Good. Well, and another thing too is, you know, where that porch is, we can take that porch down. It's already, I mean, it's literally being held up by 2 columns. We take that down, back and truck right to that front door. I'm sure we can find something to be able to hook to the top of them steps to where we can at least get it to that doorway for all somebody that.
Well, I mean, but you could also, could you just back the truck up to the porch and toss them in from the porch as well?
Well, the porch is dangling.
Oh, so
I mean,
it's not
you go
secure
in and
enough
out
to
that
walk in.
door, you're literally standing and walking up close to the wall as close as you can. And I'm not the biggest dude, but I could see some bigger people, older people, might not be sure-footed. You know, we're looking for workers' comp insurance.
Gotcha.
So as far as where we're gonna store them, have we got a spot in the new water plant that we are eyeballing?
I can store some there. I looked today at the wastewater plant. Like that might be the
That
best.
might be, because there's
That
that big
might
old
be,
room in there,
yes.
yes. and there's
That's
a lot
what
of
I think
stuff
is gonna
in
be
there.
the best place to put it.
Yeah, I
is
think you're
there.
right.
And
Can we
out
go
of the way.
back into there to unload?
Yeah.
And get it there at the door, so you don't have to.
What you're looking at, I'd say a good 2-3 days. But, you know, 3 people, 2-3 days, it'll be done.
Could you sell it before you change something at once?
You could.
Handle it once instead of unloading
Or sell some of it,
and then loading
and
it
then,
again?
could we assess how much we might need during that lifespan, and then look at trying to sell?
I think with what we got, what you have would be a complete rebuild of a filter. So I know this, and Andrews.
Would Andrews would Andrews want any of it?
If you wanted to handle that, if you wanted to handle that, I'm not.
Well, I mean, I would,
But no,
I
so-
would, but would they, I mean, do
Yeah,
they
they
need
would.
it, they use it?
Yes.
And you've got numbers.
I
that
can say this, when I first stepped foot in Andrews, the original quote was $150,000, and it was for 2 actuators and media. That was it. Now, when I got in there and I started talking to the guys, like, well, hey, look, you know, that's just the media. You know, you gotta take the old media out and then put the new media in, clean the nozzle, do this, and this. That quote went from 150 to 356,000. So we're sitting on money. We're sitting on money. If I think we can hold on to some for us, I don't see a point in it right now.
Right.
I don't.
I mean, if I can
we're
sell it, I
hard
would
for
just
cash.
as soon do
If we
it.
can get 25, 50, you know, if we can get any kind of several $1,000s, I say sell it.
Well, the nice thing is if we did have a bit of a fund where we could dig into, then we can at least fund some of our less costly issues trying to resolve our more significant.
That's what I look at, and then 2, you can look at the fact of, you know, I told them I'm really good at saying, okay, look, I can make this work for the next 4 or 5 years. Let's budget this. Let's start planning for this 5 years from now. But just know that we're there. But if it's me, I sell it. It's been sitting up there for how long?
Probably what, 5 years or so, I guess, probably.
You know, so
I don't know. I'm not sure when did they purchase that. This should be $100,000. Right?
Yeah, but it's somewhere in that time frame.
it's old. I know that. I mean, it's it's covered in
It's
dust.
probably within the last 10 years.
So with
Yeah.
regard to the demolition, then, what sort of time frame are we looking at for TV?
Well, and now they are actually wanting to, their time frame was,
Are we gonna have the luxury of trying to find a buyer
well,
and
we
move
would
it
want
once?
to, well, I
Or are
mean,
we gonna
we
have
might
to-
be able to, we can get.
Wow.
They want to do an environmental review in January, an award of contract by March, and demolition work removal of all the materials, including the contractor stuff, no later than December of this year. So this year basically is where we're wanting to get help
You
on
got
that.
a year time.
It's
But
not
I
like they're
mean-
pressing to do this in the next couple
No.
of months.
But I've got to get this contract back to them so that they can start doing work on it.
Did you
And I
find out
want
about the overflow? That they weren't gonna mess with that?
Yeah, they have this in here. I was actually going to go over that with you at a later date here.
Okay, yeah, I went up there today looking.
And so that-
Today.
Actually, here, pass this down to him. This is what they are leaving intact and what they're taking out. I was going to have you go up there and look and see if that makes sense, because we got that basin. We got to keep that basin intact, and that's for the overflow when the water plant's not operating, because the pressure builds up on those old lines. And when we turned off the valve to reconnect the new water plant to the wastewater, it blew over there on the other side of the lake because it's so old. So when the water plant's not pumping water, that pressure builds up. There's a basin in behind the old plant where that water releases into
Now-
and goes right down the side of the road.
I was led to believe that that was the oldest operating redwood filter system in North Carolina.
Probably
I
in
think
the
it
United
was at the
States.
time.
I think probably,
I heard
not
several
just, I
people
think,
say that.
yeah.
The building, it's on its last leg. I mean,
Oh,
you
yeah.
step on the wrong board and all through. I wonder if those filters are worth any money. Even in a museum, like that's history. Like
Well, the
as
thing
long
of it
as I've
is
been in this,
finding somebody that will
I've never
actually
seen that. I
has the
talked to my
interest,
boss,
you know?
he's never seen that before. I sent it to one of my former bosses that's been in this industry for almost 60 years. He's never seen it. He's like, what am I looking at? I'm like, I think this was a water treatment for the ark, maybe. I'm like, I don't know.
So maybe we.
So is this correct, Jason?
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
In the very back is where the that basin is.
Okay,
So maybe we can consult with some historical sort of agency, see if there's any value in.
I wonder, and
this
I would
before we
hate to
just
see.
went-
I would hate to see something like that go to waste. That it might not be any kind of monetary value on it, but it's history, man. You know what I mean? I would hate
I
to
don't
see.
even know who to contact though.
I wonder if the rural water, if they would have a
I
contact.
know, but rural water, it seems like would have said something to me by now. You know, I mean, I'm friends with them and talk with them. It seems like they would
I'll
have said.
talk to Nicole next week. I'll talk to her, see if she actually maybe has a contact with somebody.
What about the redwood? On the tanks,
Well, the only thing I was thinking, if they've had water in them for so long, when they dry out, do they not kind of disintegrate?
Them things look awesome. Again, I'm amazed at that. I hate that we're tearing down here because literally today was the first day I actually went up there and spent some time up there. I'm like, oh God, I want to keep hanging out and see how this all works.
Yeah. You didn't.
Because it's four of them. Well, granted, I'm glad I didn't have to operate that plant by any means. But
Yeah.
I mean, you think of how long that plant sat there. And it was released, what, 4 years ago, 5. So I mean, that's where you look at it. We get these batch plants like this that are built. We got a shelf life of 15 years. You got a plant down there that's literally operating through wood.
That's
You know,
been there,
but
that's been in
when you
operation
see
for
that, it's like,
70
oh,
years or
yeah.
so, yeah.
So it's amazing that it's still operating. It's still functioning.
Well,
Could
Kind of.
there be any salvage value to the wood,
yeah, I know, and we thought about that when we tore down the old storage tank up there too. It is like there again, finding the person and the time frame, because if we sign this and they're pushing us to get this signed, because they're worried, they wanted to, what they're worried about, and there's a very good reason why they're worried about it, is because kids in particular, you say no trespassing, danger, whatever. Where are they gonna go? Right there is where they're gonna go. Campground,
See,
house,
they
family.
were blunt wrapping just all up and down.
Yeah.
the
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You get a
that was
kid.
the first thing, and I'm like, it ain't like they hit. I'm like, this thing is green, gold, sparkling, right there by the creek, and I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Oh God.
So, I mean, you're gonna have kids going in there, and they're gonna fall in those basins or
Don't
something.
say that.
Or
I
subdivision wood
I
or
was like, I hope I don't
something.
have to deal with that here. I can deal with some blunt wrapper, but
But,
I don't want to step on their needle.
but I mean, by the time, like, when would be the earliest to be looking at the demolition? I guess is my.
Well, I mean, they're gonna, you know, this contract, which, we'll read over a little bit more here. No, I mean, you know, strong wind's gonna blow it over, so they're gonna bring in, you know, some kind of demolition machinery and
But it sounds to me like they're doing an environmental study, what, in
Yeah.
March?
probably,
So
if
they're
they
gonna
want
be
to,
awarding the
contract
contract
will
at
probably,
the end of the year.
no,
Or,
they wanna have it done by the end of the year.
oh,
The contract will be awarded, by, they wanna get that done, I think, in March. Let's see, they wanna do an environmental review this month, start with that. And then award a contract by March. And then the demolition work and the removal and everything are done by the end of
I
December.
guess they would get them from as soon as they got the bid for the end of the year.
Once we sign this, they're gonna move on. So, you know,
Probably not till March. So.
and it says in this contract that anything down there, you know, that we have no claim to once they get started on this.
okay.
So,
I guess before we sign something, maybe what we need to do is have a discussion regarding anything historical, anything, you know, what the dates are that we need to pretty much have some answers by. If somebody were to say wants access to that wood, say a woodworker wants to, you know, try to salvage it and use it, recycle it, you know, into something else. What would we be looking at as far as timeframes are concerned? Just so they're aware that we're thinking about these possibilities.
I just know, let's see,
They want us to have this signed.
it said the scope could change as a result of required environmental review. So if something's discovered that we didn't know about or something, you know
The
that.
sludge,
Yeah,
are they dealing with that, or are we being charged for that?
they will deal with all of that. They're gonna remove all of it because they know that we don't have the funds to do
That's
it.
awesome. Yeah, that's not cheap.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was one thing we was glad to get away from before it got to the point.
But like the old pipes, the old pumps, like, I mean, salvage yards. You know, I mean,
But we gotta think, who's gonna get in there and get them out? How hard is that gonna be? How we're gonna get them hauled off? I mean, there's a lot more to this than just saying, okay.
oh no,
I mean,
I completely agree.
yeah.
You know, again,
I mean, I want to do this. I want to take what we can, but I don't want to get all the work involved to get
Yeah.
stuff out. And then it just sits somewhere and 10 years down the road, we're going, oh, remember when we said we were
but
going
the
to do this?
pumps and the pipes that are, you know, cast iron, you know, I mean, that stuff would be dedication. It would take somebody who, hey, let's do this, let's get this done. Again, I don't know how much money it would be worth. I've never dealt with, you know, scrap metal, but you're talking weight. That's a lot of weight.
You would think the demo company would possibly be thinking something similar.
And that's what I'm wondering. I mean, most of these people, they're contractors. If you're going to have these side people working there, it's going to be like, oh, I'll take this and they'll go back in my truck. You know, I can
Exactly.
see that.
Yeah, that could possibly happen. That
So,
could possibly
but
happen.
again, I mean, the two things for me would definitely be the anthracite and to see if we could salvage the filters. That would be the two things.
Well,
for me.
here's what I'll do. I will try to get a hold of somebody over there at the Andrews plant. I will get in touch with Nicole and see if she knows of any other plant that takes that kind of media and try to handle getting that. If we can find somebody that wants it and we can sell it, then, you know, we'll escort them down there and they can take it.
Is Robin's going to do one of that meeting?
I don't know if they do or not. I don't think so. Carrie might could help me though.
Every plant does.
Yeah, so.
I mean, but I don't know if they need it.
Yeah. Every plant that has, look, I say that 90% of the plants in America use anthracite as their primary filtration. So, you know,
I mean, it seems like she would admit she knows it's.
That's what I was thinking, is you could, and somebody go up there and take a picture of it and put it on the Gov deals to see if, you get a bite. I mean, any bite's better than no bite. So if somebody offered 10,000, it's like, take it, yours.
And on that note, what I read today, or what I've done, is that extra, for when we were redoing the water wastewater pay, I had a different account.
Yeah.
And we talked about using that for power bill money, but I talked with Little May, and we decided to use it for water. So that's where all the water bill payments, everything having to do with any of the utilities is going to go into that account. And one of the things that I want to use it for is to try and build it so that we have stuff for repairs and different things, because we don't have no depreciation type thing, like most places do. So we got to be a little bit more creative. So I thought this is one way of doing it. We can get this money separate. We can use it. You can only use it for water utilities anyway. So, this will give us, it's not going to grow anywhere near as fast as what we'd like it to, especially as we've seen how much repairs and stuff can cost. But, it's a start, and we can build on it. So, that's what we'll use it for. And that way, if we do need some small things, things that we can afford, we'll use it for that. And hopefully can keep this plant running in top notch, and not get into a situation where it's like an Andrews or something where half the plant don't work.
Let's not say that. Let's not go wood.
Yeah.
Let's not go wood on that. The yearly reports that you turn in to the state, they're asking how much water you brought in, how much water you treated, how much water capacity, storage capacity you had. And on that, they look at your water loss. Well, at a certain rate, you get government grants for that. Over a certain amount, like average, it's usually like 15, 20%. And if we're like at 80%, we should be able to get a grant for that, where they could come in and do a water study and say, okay, this is where this is happening at.
The problem being is that we have so many, it's so convoluted here because TVA owns a property, even though we have like a lease type thing. So, the water plant, the wastewater plant, all of that belongs to us as long as that's what we're operating on.
Yeah.
Now, if we for some reason didn't have that on there, like a tornado came through and blew it away, and then we decided we was going to build something totally hotel, we could not keep that piece of property.
Okay.
So that, as long as there's a water plant that's on it, it's our property, to do with as needs to be done to keep it in operation. But it's not officially town property. So
Okay.
that's where the
They would
issue.
ask for the grant, like they would have to, like a TVA.
Well, I don't know if TVA, I
They're
don't,
not allowing you to get there, I mean, it would just save them money in the long run.
right, I know, I understand that too. But,
That's a good question. This is completely different than I've ever seen. So I'm stoked on it. I mean, Nicole might can help. I mean, I could reach out to her and ask her about it to see if she knew which route we could take if we had any route.
What are our options here? I think we can.
well, I can talk to her as well. I mean, she, we can definitely reach out to her and see what we can do. I mean, the problem and then we have to get the cooperation of the resort, which I know they want new water lines, don't get me wrong, I know they do. But we got a season coming up, they're not gonna want this going on right in the middle of the season,
But maybe we can develop a plan such that next off season, or if we were to experience, like for example, whenever we had that lockdown.
let's not go there again.
I mean, that would have been the time to have done some capital.
But I'm saying, I know too that they actually have a government grant. It's CDGD.
Oh, see, no, I know what you're talking about. We applied for that and didn't get it.
Didn't get it?
No.
Okay. I mean, we can
Because,
continue applying for that.
here's the other thing. We don't have enough people here. Well, we're, granted, we are providing water to
Yeah.
all the tourists that come in here. We have 25 residents.
I told somebody that today. I'm like,
And
how much?
so,
Yes.
for us to have gotten
1,200?
a water plant built and be all brands is amazing. People are in amazement of that. because they didn't want to do it. We almost lost it there anyway,
Yeah,
because we only have 25 residents here. That's the bottom line.
yeah.
But when you consider that this is the largest private employer in the county and the economic
And that there's
impact
probably
that it
60,000 people that come through here.
Yeah,
You
see,
know.
I think that's where it's at.
That's where we got it.
When you start looking, I didn't learn this 2 years ago, was when you look at, the state looks at your population size. They're not looking at how many people you have. They're looking at how many taps you have. And then they take that as a formula, it's 2.54.
Yeah.
So
and
if you've got like, say 120 taps, and then they take that 2.54, adds up. So Andrews had a population of like, it's like 3,600.